12,000 new jobs.
Wow.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's the number that dropped today. You'd think we were back in the Great Depression, not a month before a presidential election.
Nope.
But here's the real head-scratcher.
Okay.
The market's not just surviving, it's thriving.
Yeah.
So what in the name of tendies is going on? Let's unpack this.
Okay.
We're diving into the WallStreetBets daily thread
All right.
to see what's got retail investors buzzing and try to figure out why this market is dancing to a different tune.
Yeah, it's definitely a case of inverse fundamentals.
Yeah.
We've got weak economic data,
Yeah.
a looming election, and yet the major indices are acting like they just hit the jackpot on a YOLO bet.
And the stocks making the most noise on WSB,
Yeah.
NVDA, AMD, AMZN, Gojo, INTC, SNCI, AAPL, and CVNA.
So,
Each one with a story that could end in tendies or tears.
yeah, let's start with the overall sentiment.
Okay.
You've got a mix of cautious optimism, bewilderment,
Yeah.
and a healthy dose of the market is rigged, conspiracy theories.
Yeah. The WSB crowd is never short on those.
Right.
But beneath the memes and the moon emojis,
Yeah.
there's a genuine sense of unease.
I see.
Like everyone's waiting for the other shoe to drop.
Yeah. The pre-election pump theory is gaining traction,
Okay.
with some users speculating that the plunge protection team is working overtime to keep the market afloat until after the election.
Speaking of spooky action, let's talk about NVDA.
Okay.
The Chip King continues to reign supreme,
Uh-huh.
but there are some cracks appearing in the armor.
Right. The bulls are still chanting NVDA to $150 by earnings,
Wow.
pointing to the AI boom as the main driver.
Yeah.
But there's a growing chorus of bears warning about the stock's volatility and the potential for a classic buy the rumor, sell the news scenario.
And those post-earnings dumps can be brutal,
Oh, yeah.
especially with a stock like NVDA that's priced for perfection.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Even if they beat estimates, if the guidance isn't stellar,
Yeah.
the stock could take a hit.
Right.
The market always wants more from these high-growth companies.
So now let's look at AMD.
Okay.
The WSB crowd is loving the games, but there's also a sense of frustration.
I see.
The stock's been lagging behind the overall semiconductor rally.
And that's puzzling because theoretically, we're in a semi-bull market.
Right.
Demand is through the roof, but AMD is down year to date. Some are calling for a rebound after earnings, while others are skeptical.
The competition is fierce.
Yeah.
Especially with Intel seemingly making a comeback.
Right.
Some are even attributing it to the CEO's fervent prayers.
Oh, wow.
Who knew divine intervention could move markets?
It's a wild theory.
Yeah.
But it speaks to the sentiment around Intel. Down almost 55% YTD. It's a meme stock in the making.
Right.
The INTCvers who got in early and rode it to the top are long gone.
Yeah.
But now a new wave of investors are hoping for a miracle.
From prayers to pure speculation, let's move on to Amazon.
Okay.
This e-commerce giant is stuck in a battle with the $200 ceiling. Earnings were solid.
Yeah.
Cloud computing is booming. But the stock just can't seem to break through.
What's interesting here is the attention on Bezos's recent share sales.
Okay.
Some see it as a red flag, a sign that even the founder is losing faith.
Right.
Others argue he's just cashing out to fund his space adventures.
Either way, those massive insider sales are casting a shadow over Amazon's future.
Yeah.
It's like the market's whispering, is this rocket ship running out of fuel?
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah.
And speaking of shadows, let's turn to Google.
Okay.
The search giant is seen as the undervalued play in big tech, but it's also facing its fair share of challenges.
Right. The WSB crowd is divided.
Yeah.
Some see it as a sleeping giant, praising its low PE ratio and strong earnings. They're betting on a rebound, especially with the market searching for value in this crazy environment.
Right, but there's also frustration over Google's recent performance.
I see.
It's like the market is saying, sure, you're profitable,
Yeah.
but where's the excitement?
Right.
Where's the next big thing?
They're waiting for Google to pull a rabbit out of its hat.
Yeah.
Something to justify its tech giant status. Maybe it's the rumored Apple car that has everyone holding their breath.
Speaking of scary situations, let's talk about Supermicrocomputer,
Okay.
or SMCI, as the WSB crowd knows it.
Oh, wait.
This one's a real horror story. A stock plummeting faster than a wedge on a broomstick?
The culprit.
Their auditor, EY,
Oh, wow.
bailed, and that sent a chill down everyone's spine.
Right.
Whispers of accounting irregularities,
Yeah.
comparisons to Luck and Coffee. It's enough to make any investor run for the hills.
And yet, there's a small but vocal group of diehards who remain bullish.
Interesting.
They're betting on the upcoming earnings preview
Okay.
to clear the air and prove the doubters wrong.
So they're basically saying, don't believe the FUD, this company is solid.
It's a high-risk, high-reward gamble, but that's what WSB is all about.
Now let's shift gears to Apple.
Okay.
Sentiment here is as mixed as a bag of Halloween candy.
Huh.
Some are calling it oversold and primed for a rebound, especially if Tim Cook finally unveils that mythical Apple car.
Others are skeptical, pointing to Apple's recent performance
Right.
and the increasing competition in the smartphone market.
It all boils down to whether Apple can continue to command those premium prices.
Yeah.
In a world where consumers are getting more and more price sensitive.
Right. Can they maintain that it just works magic?
And finally, we arrive at the graveyard of used cars,
Oh, boy.
Carvana or CVNA.
Yep.
This one's a hot potato that even the most seasoned WSB veterans are warning others about.
Yeah, the volatility is legendary,
It is.
and many are predicting further declines. They're calling CVNA options a trap.
Right.
Regardless of whether you're buying calls or puts,
Yeah.
you're likely to get burned.
It's a company facing some serious headwinds, with a debt load that would make a ghost turn pale and profitability that's more elusive than a phantom.
But beyond the individual stock dramas,
Right.
there's this underlying unease about the market as a whole.
Yeah.
That jobs report a measly 12,000 new jobs is like a skeleton rattling in the closet. It's hard to ignore.
It's causing some serious head scratching on WSB.
Yeah.
Some are calling it a statistical anomaly,
Okay.
a blip on the radar. Others see it as a sign of a looming recession, a ghost of economic downturns past, and then there's the unemployment rate holding steady at 4.1%.
Right.
It's a paradox.
Yeah.
Weak job growth, but a stable unemployment rate. Some are speculating that the data is being manipulated, that the powers that be are trying to paint a rosier picture than reality.
Yeah, that the market is rigged, sentiment is running high, and with the election just around the corner, the uncertainty is amplified.
Some are predicting a classic pre-election pump followed by a brutal post-election dump.
But
Others believe the market will shrug off the political drama and focus on the fundamentals like interest rates and earnings.
it's a fascinating dichotomy.
Yeah.
You have the cynics who believe the market is a puppet show controlled by unseen forces, and then you have those who believe in the power of fundamentals, that eventually the market will reflect the true state of the economy. And of course, you've got the meme lords
Oh, yeah.
who are just riding the waves, hoping to make a quick buck before the whole thing crashes down.
Right.
It's a market fueled by fear, greed, and a whole lot of diamond hands emojis.
But here's what's really fascinating to me.
Okay.
Despite all the noise and the speculation,
Yeah.
there's a sense that we're in uncharted territory. This isn't your typical bull market, and it's definitely not your textbook recession.
Right.
The old rules don't seem to apply anymore.
It's like we've stepped into a parallel universe where bad news is good news,
Yeah.
and everyone's playing a game they don't really understand.
Exactly.
So what does all this mean for individual investors like you? What are you supposed to make of this market, where fundamentals seem to have taken a back seat to memes and momentum?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? And there's no easy answer.
Right.
But by tuning in to what's happening on Wall Street Bets, even if you're not an active trader, you can get a glimpse into the collective consciousness of the market. You can see what's driving investor behavior, what fears and hopes are bubbling beneath the surface.
It's like listening to the whispers in a haunted graveyard.
Yeah.
You might pick up some clues about what's lurking around the corner.
Exactly. And by understanding the forces that are shaping the market, both rational and irrational, you can make more informed decisions about your own investments.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into the Wall Street Bets Halloween special, let's leave you with this thought.
Okay.
What if this disconnect between the market and economic reality is the new normal? What if we've entered a world where narratives and sentiment matter more than traditional fundamentals?
It's a chilling thought. But it's a possibility we have to consider.
Right.
It raises questions about the future of investing, the role of central banks, and even the nature of capitalism itself.
Food for thought as we head into earnings season. And the election, buckle up.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's going to be a wild ride.